A diamond in the rough is one of the most misunderstood things in life because before a diamond becomes beautiful, it looks ordinary, buried underground, covered in pressure, hidden in darkness. Nobody really looks at it twice. Some people don't even notice it. People are the same way. Some of the most valuable people you'll ever meet walk through your life unnoticed, judged by their current condition instead of their potential. Value isn't determined by appearance, though. Sometimes the rarest things take the longest to reveal themselves, just like diamonds in the rough. Most of the time, in the dark, you don't really see a diamond. But then, right as you light it up with the torch, you instantly see it, you run towards it, and you take it. That's the same as relationships. At first, you don't always see its full value. It's imperfect, unpolished, sometimes even more confusing than it is understanding. There are lots of flaws, rough edges, moments that might test your patience. Most people walk away when things stop looking perfect. But real connections, real relationships, aren't formed, fully discovered. They're built over time through understanding, effort, pressure, and growth. Just like diamonds, stacked up under all that pressure, they become beautiful under pressure. The strongest relationships are often the ones that started uncertain because two people chose to see potential in it before the world could see it in them. And the reason a diamond in the rough is so beautiful is because it asks for faith. It's it's a sign of hope. In relationships, that means choosing someone before they're fully understood. You might not know everything. Before everything is easy, before all the walls come down, anyone can love something polished and perfect, like a diamond. But it takes patience to stay when someone is still becoming who they are. Real love isn't about finding perfection immediately. It's about recognizing something rare beneath the surface and caring enough to uncover it slowly, just like a diamond. Some relationships fail because people expect diamonds to shine the moment they find them. But rough diamonds don't sparkle yet. They require time, that pressure, honesty, and care. People are no different. We all carry scars, fears, insecurities, and unfinished parts of ourselves. The right person doesn't ignore those things. They understand that hidden beneath the roughness is something valuable worth holding on to. The saddest parts about Diamond in the Rough is that many get abandoned too early. People leave before the beauty reveals itself, and it's left unpolished and unfinished. They confuse unfinished with unworthy, but some of the deepest connections in life come from two imperfect people who stayed long enough to see each other clearly and shine beautifully like a diamond. At first, diamonds are just an unremarkable stone, overlooked and misunderstood, carrying their worth in a form no one can yet see. That's how people are too. We don't show up in life already polished. We're shaped through pressure, friction, and time, mistakes, relationships, losses, and the growth that might not always feel meaningful in the moment. Those lessons carry on in life. The roughness isn't a flaw, it's the process. Because what matters isn't where someone starts, but what they're being carved into when no one is fully watching. And the end result, when you're finally finished building that perfect, shiny, beautiful diamond. Persevering through pressure and roughness is what reveals the real depth of human character. Pressure is a way of exposing what's underneath. When things are easy, anyone can move forward. But when life tightens and everything feels heavy, that's when endurance actually begins. Toughness isn't about not feeling the weight. It's about carrying it long enough to see that it changes shape over time and builds you into a stronger person, mentally and or physically. The hardest part is that pressure doesn't usually let up when you want it to. It stays, it builds, and it tests patience more than strength. But perseverance is what turns that pressure from something crushing into something forming, like heat shaping something raw into something refined. People are shaped in moments they didn't choose and didn't feel ready for. And even when progress feels invincible, continuing anyway is what slowly turns survival into growth. And all that pressure and roughness can turn you into a stronger man in general. When you're under layers of pressure, it doesn't feel like you're being shaped. It feels like you're being pushed to your limit. like something is trying to see how much you can take before you finally stop. And in those moments, perseverance isn't loud or obvious. It's not confidence or motivation. It's quieter than that. It's simply not quitting when everything in you is telling you to. Toughness isn't built in comfort. It's built in the moments where nothing goes your way, where progress feels invisible, and where every step forward feels heavier than the last. Sometimes you might have to step backwards to get back into that motion and be able to go forward again. Most people imagine strength as something you have before the struggle, but real strength is what gets built during it. It's what forms when you keep showing up, even when you don't feel ready, even when you don't feel strong, even when you're not sure it's working. Human perseverance is strange because it doesn't require certainty. You don't know if you keep going, if it's going to work out or not, but you keep going because something inside of you refuses to let the story end right there. Sometimes it's hope, sometimes it's responsibility, but sometimes it's just the habit of not giving up and perseverance. But whatever it is, it keeps people from moving forward when logic says to stop. Pressure has a way of isolating you. It makes you think you're the only one struggling, the only one stuck, the only one fighting to stay consistent. But the truth is, almost every person you admire has been through their own version of that same weight. The difference isn't that they avoided pressure, it's that they stayed inside it long enough to adapt to it. Two people can go through the same things. One person can complain and say it was really hard, get really mad at it, and start crying. The other person can understand that it's hard, but still realize they learned a lesson, they learned what to do next time, and they learned how to fix their mistake. It's that one of the person stayed inside of the problem long enough to adapt to it. The other didn't want to try to adapt to it and just complained. Adaptation is where change happens, not in the beginning, not when everything feels exciting, but in the middle, when it's repetitive and uncomfortable. That's where perseverance quietly does its work. It doesn't always give immediate results, but it guarantees that you are not the same person you were before you started. Because in the end, pressure doesn't just test you, it builds you. And toughness isn't the absence of struggle, it's what remains after you've learned how to keep going through it. Picture two people climbing the same mountain trying to reach a beautiful summit. The first person starts strong, confident, motivated, energized. He's moving fast at the beginning because everything feels new and exciting. But as the climb gets steeper, the air gets thinner, and the path gets rougher, they start looking down more than up, thinking about how it would be if they were just down on the ground. But slowly, every break feels longer, every setback feels heavier. Eventually, when the summit still doesn't feel close enough, they convince themselves it's not worth it. They stop, not because the mountain changed, because their motivation changed. The second person starts the same way, maybe even a bit slower. They feel the same fatigue, the same doubt, the same pressure building in their legs and lungs. But instead of asking how far is left, they focus on one step at a time, not the whole mountain, just the next step, and then the next. They don't feel strong the whole time. They don't feel confident every moment, but they keep moving anyway, even when progress feels invisible. Over time, something changes. The first person is still stuck near the bottom, remembering how hard it felt and how far they thought it was. The second person, without even noticing the exact moment it happened, reached higher ground. Not because the mountain got easier, but because they learned how to stay in the climb longer than their doubt could. The second person reached the beautiful summit and relaxed, while the first person was still struggling climbing the mountain, asking how far is left. That's perseverance, having a good pace, not being the fastest or the strongest, but being the one who wants to keep going and being able to go through that pressure. Two people watch the same sunset. One feels sad that it's ending and focuses on how quickly the beautiful light fades, while the other feels grateful it happened at all and finds peace and serenity in its short beauty. One sees loss, the other sees meaning in the moment itself.